Hey guys, welcome to the CMW. So this video is going to be a little different. It's going to start out sad and I hope that it will end with it being happy. We'll see. I hope. I don't like things being sad. So basically I want to talk about my struggles with anxiety and depression. I see a lot of people post videos, they tell their story, and I want to do the same to not only help myself but to help other people as well. And maybe one day I will look back at this and be like, wow, maybe it worked. Maybe it worked on me, maybe it worked on someone else, I don't know. But it's really hard to talk about. I confessed to my anxiety about a year ago actually, and I had depression since 2011 I believe, and I was more open about that because I'm not really good at hiding being sad, you know. Anxiety is easier in a way, unless you're having like a attack or something, then it's so noticeable. And I'm saying it because I had one today. At least I think I did, for the way things went down. But let me just kind of give you a story here. It's just water, I promise. Okay, so why don't I just start with depression. I know, everyone gets sad, and sad and depression are slightly different from each other. Everyone gets sad, but not everyone gets depressed. You can get depressed over anything. Obviously, you know, if you lose your job, a loss of a friend or family, just anything. Sometimes you can get depressed over just nothing, and you just wake up and you're sad and you can't get out of bed. And I've dealt with that. Unfortunately, years ago when depression really hit, it was during a bad breakup for me, and unfortunately, of course, that was how my depression started. And we didn't even break up yet. I was a mess. I was drinking a lot. Like, I was doing whatever I can to try to feel numb. So I drank, I barely ate, I barely slept. I'm pretty sure I lost my job because of my depression. And it was embarrassing. But you know, it's, in a way, you shouldn't be embarrassed. You can't help the way you feel. It's a mental illness when you're depressed. And when you're depressed like that, you need to get some kind of help so you aren't feeling like that, because eventually, sometimes, depression could lead to suicide, and that is what we don't want to happen. Now, I never have thought that at all. I just get really depressed. And I go through these episodes where I just want to be alone. I don't want to talk to anybody. And for some reason, every time I'm depressed, I always go to alcohol. And no, I'm not an alcoholic. I actually don't drink that much. If anything, maybe I drink one day out of the week, and it's only 2 drinks. So I'm not an alcoholic, but when I'm depressed, unfortunately, my mind and my body is okay with drinking more alcohol than what I'm used to. And I hate drinking. I hate the hangover. I hate feeling like shit. It's a crappy feeling. So I have been trying to at least die down from it, I guess you would say. I'm trying not to drink it as much, maybe special occasions, maybe, again, one day during the week. But I don't really care for alcohol. I'm okay without it. I have fun without it, so I don't need it. But when I'm depressed, like most people, they find something that will kind of help make you feel numb. Some people go to smoking. Some people do the drinking. Some people do drugs. Some smoke marijuana. Some people go for a drive and listen to real loud music. Some people just disappear for a while. People have their own way of depression. And, of course, unfortunately, mine was alcohol. And I didn't like it, but it was the only thing that made me feel normal, or at least numb. And I wasn't happy about it. So in time, when it got worse, like, I lost my job, broke up with my boyfriend, was still a hot mess. I wasn't happy. I was a person who was able to pick myself back up all the time, and all of a sudden, rock bottom because of a relationship. And it happens. It really does. It does happen to everybody in some way or another, if it's a relationship or a job or whatever. And unfortunately, the one thing I never wanted to bring me down was a relationship, and it did. Guilty. So eventually, I did get help. I was given medicine, and in time, I felt great. And then I eventually weaned myself off the medicine because I wasn't depressed anymore. I kind of used it as a pick-me-up, since this was the first time that I couldn't pick up myself. I couldn't pick myself up as I fell. And so I needed something to help me. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. Like, if you're depressed, talk to somebody. Get help, especially if you have suicide thoughts. Like, do not, please, I am begging you, if you ever have thoughts like that, please talk to somebody. And I promise there are people out there that care about you. I mean, I still get depressed. I recently had a bad episode just a couple days ago. I was crying, I was drinking. I felt like I was the loneliest person in the world. And all I wanted to do was sleep and not wake up until I knew I was going to feel better. I mean, depression is terrible. But here's the thing. Eventually in time, you will be okay. You just have to get through it. You got to keep on going and do what you can to make it right. And if you reach for that goal, you will find that happiness again. It's going to take a while. Like I said, my depression started in 2011, and I was diagnosed with depression. It will probably be with me for the rest of my life, but I don't get it all the time. It just comes and goes when it wants to. But, I'm prepared for it, and I'm not going to let it, I'm going to promise myself not to let it interfere with my life. I don't want to lose a job over it. I don't want to lose a boyfriend over it. I don't want to lose anyone over it, friends or family back. I actually already lost a family member over, I don't even know. All I know is, I had a family member who unfortunately said I was the problem, and she kind of kicked me out of her life and everything, and that's pretty messed up. I mean, if that was the other way around, I would be there to help that person, especially in their time of need. I get it. You don't want to end up feeling like crap, but I'm your family. Like, who does that? But, it is what it is, and I'm surviving from it, so it's all good. So, depression. Please, if you deal with it, get help. Don't be embarrassed by it. You'll be surprised how many people get depressed and are sad. Again, it's normal. But if you feel so depressed that you don't want to do one thing, you don't want to get out of bed do what you normally do every day. Spend time with your family, hang out with your friends, do an activity, then you need to talk to a doctor. Because that's what I did, and I push myself every day. So please, please do it. I'm begging you. Alright, so scratch depression. Let's go to my favorite, anxiety. Now, anxiety has been through my life. And you know what? Everyone has anxiety. Everyone deals with it. We all go through it. But imagine having the disorder for anxiety. There's all different kinds of mental illnesses that include anxiety. And I have it pretty hard. I really do. My anxiety didn't really get bad until I'm looking at the cat like she's going to tell me. I would show you the cat, but she doesn't like being picked up. But I think I started with anxiety, like extreme anxiety, was maybe 2015. That's when it really kind of hit me hard. And to see how this could have happened, I'm a medical assistant, and I worked 3.5 years in a cancer office. I also worked with patients with blood disorders. So I worked in a hematology and an oncology office. I worked there for 3.5 years, and I recently left there and I work at a women's health center. But I do believe that my anxiety got triggered by working with such a tough job with cancer. And that's a really, really hard thing to work with. Seeing it every day. And here's the thing, I love my patients. When I see them out and about, I am so happy, because now, like, when I see them, I know that they're okay. Now that I don't work there, I don't know what happens to people. So, you know, working there is really hard. God, I'm gonna cry. I'm sorry. If I do, I might have to stop this for a second and restart this. I am a huge social butterfly. So, working in that kind of job is really hard, because you see these fantastic people every single day, and when you see them sick like that, it sucks. It sucks. I'm sorry. And all you want them is to get better. And you know, cancer is such a scary thing. And we saw patients 18 years of age to, you know, older, you know, and just seeing all that really, really messed me up. And that was the hardest thing, was to leave. But I knew I had to leave because I knew that's what was causing my anxiety. And I had so many weird symptoms, and as it got worse, I even had to leave the office to take a breather. I even ended up in the hospital because it happened even when I wasn't there. Like, I found, like, triggers. Like, I don't even go to the movies anymore. I don't go to a movie theater anymore because I get anxiety attacks or panic attacks. I ended up getting a panic attack. My face was tingly, and it started going to my hands and my arms, and I was driven to the hospital, and they did like a neurological test, and they couldn't find anything that was wrong with me. And it was a anxiety, no, hold on, it was a panic attack. And that was the first time that I was in the hospital for something that it was a panic attack. And it was so scary because it was hyperventilated and I was tingly everywhere. And it took over my life, anxiety. And when I did finally leave my job, I had relief and whatnot. But I was sad because I was leaving these people during their time of need, you know? I didn't want them to think I was abandoning them. Because I wasn't. I just wasn't happy with what I wanted to do with my life. And I knew my anxiety got triggered by the job that I was in. And it was a job that I loved. And I still love it. And I miss it like crazy. I really do. And I just couldn't do it anymore, because even though I loved it, because I got to help in my own way to make patients feel better, was the best feeling. And when a patient left cancer-free, I had so much joy, and I hope that I was never going to see them there again. And the worst thing was when I finally started telling my patients that I was leaving. Oh my God, it was the hardest thing. I'm sorry. Because they were so upset. They were really, really upset. Some of them asked, like, do you really want to go? Do you have to go? And it's, in my heart, it's like, wow, I made a huge impact on these people, on my family, basically. And it was so hard after that. And it got harder throughout those last 2 weeks. And I even had a doctor who said, can you please think about it? Please think about staying. And it just made it harder, because then it was the doctors. And then you have the patients who are begging you to stay. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I'm trying to keep it together. I'm sorry. Because of my anxiety, I left a job that I really, really loved. And I thought my job was the huge, huge reason why I was getting attacks. Because, again, it was affecting me when I was at home or just anything. But then I realized after I left, I was still getting them. And I thought, well, you know, working a new job, you're going to be a little stressed out, have anxiety. The normal feeling that you would get when you're working on a new job. No, that wasn't the case at all. I mean, I'm sure it was another huge factor, because I am a person who's unsure of what I want to do with my life, and it's probably one of the main reasons why there's so much anxiety in my life, because I don't know what I want to do with my life. And, you know, at the age of 27, it's okay for what people tell me, because I don't know. It's weird. But I was still getting attacks. All I wanted to do was go home and sleep. I would take a Advil PM so I can go to sleep as quickly as possible with melatonin. Is it melatonin or melatonin? Melatonin, sorry. I was eventually prescribed anxiety medication if I ever had an attack, and those worked like a charm. And I didn't take them every day. the thing was, the fact that I had it, I felt I had the comfort, I guess you would say, where if there was an attack, I have something here to help me. But then, it was like a month and a half ago, I had a bad attack, and I don't know what triggered it. I don't really want to talk about my triggers because that's really personal to me, and some of them I'm not exactly, I think it's more that I feel embarrassed by it, and I'm afraid people will judge me because it's just the kind of world that we live in. And maybe in time I'll be able to kind of explain what are triggers, because sometimes there's not even a trigger, things just happen. But when I ran out of my medication, I ended up becoming moody. I was on edge. I took supplements, whatever I can to help, and nothing did. And eventually I finally went to the doctor, and they were nice enough to prescribe me more. No, and I'm not an addict, because again, this is medication that I take when I have an attack. So when you have anxiety, one thing you have to understand is everyone is different. Symptoms are different for each person. Anxiety could affect your stomach, your head, your face, your arms, your legs, everything. One of my biggest problems or biggest fears is I don't like being tingly. And my body knows that. Your mind knows that. So guess what? Your mind plays tricks on you and will do whatever you hate. Now, again, I don't like anything with the tingly feeling. And then when I get attacks, most of the time it starts with tingly feelings or tingly sensations. And that's when it's all going to go downhill. And if I don't have my medicine, it's done. And I will say one thing that will cause me to have some kind of a anxiety attack. My car. I need my car around at all times, and it's because I feel trapped. If I don't have my car, I don't have a getaway. I recently, a couple months ago, had a bad attack with a very good supportive friend. Unfortunately, he drove, I didn't, and I needed to go home. I had an attack. He supported me like, oh my God. Because I am so embarrassed by it, I don't talk about it a lot. So not a lot of people know how it is with me. So, and he helped me. I felt like I could talk to him. And now I talk to him a lot and whatnot. So, but anxiety makes you feel like you're going to die. Because it gives you symptoms of almost anything and whatnot. It makes you overthink constantly, and it's a scary thing to live with. And a lot of people who don't deal with anxiety don't understand, and you get judged. So that's why it's so hard for a lot of people to talk about it. So a lot of people just keep to themselves. I feel like I've lost friends because of it. I feel like it has taken over my life at times. It took away what made me happy, and I'm trying to find ways to make myself happy. I go to therapy. I have a fantastic therapist who is there for me and very kind, and I see no judgment. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with taking medicine for your anxiety, talking to someone, a therapist or whatever, even a friend or family. But to me, in my opinion, it's always better to talk to a therapist because they can't judge you, because they don't know you. Your family, your friends, they know you. So it's just easier to talk to someone who is basically, unfortunately got to pay them, but at least they're there to listen. And that's more than what I can say about a lot of people. I'm not saying that family and friends aren't people you should talk to, but again, friends and family can sometimes judge, and they don't really always make you feel better. And, you know, also exercise. Sometimes exercising helps keep your mind busy. I'm a photographer, so I use a lot of my time with taking photos. So you just gotta do what you can. Unfortunately, and I think this is the reason why I made the video today. Something happened to me today at work, and I can't really explain what happened, but I'll keep it short because I think I'm like almost a half hour in on this. I went into work today, and it was going to be like a 10-11 hour shift, and I got there with a latte because I was like, it's probably going to be a long day and I need some sugar in me. So I didn't really think about like drinking water, or I don't know, I might have dehydrated myself. So as I was working, for some reason the office was flipping hot, and it made me feel weird. And because I felt weird, I started getting chest pains, and I started freaking out in a way, not where you can see me freaking out, but in my mind, I'm like, I need to get out, I need to go outside, I need to go outside and breathe, I need to do something that will make me feel better. And one of the girls that I work with, one of the very nice girls, she's a friend of mine, she saw me, she asked me if I was okay, and I said, is there any chance you can go downstairs and ask one of the girls to cover me? I need like 5 minutes to go outside. I'm like, I'm having chest pains, I feel weird, I'm like, I don't know if it's the heat, I don't know if I'm having some kind of attack, I don't know what it is, all I know is I need to go. And I'm like, I can wait for someone to come up, and end up being like almost an hour later, and I don't know how the hell I was able to do my job for an hour. And I really thought about it, and I'm like, you know what, I had to, I had no choice because there's no one there to cover me. But then I think about it, and I'm like, well, what if I had like a legit like panic attack, and I know for a fact I'm gonna be like, screw it, and I'm just going to go outside. Like, I'll like let someone know, because that's my health. That is my health, and I need to take care of myself, you know? So I finally got my moment of going outside, taking a breather, because it was such a beautiful day today. And I took my anxiety medicine, the one that's as needed. I've been prescribed this almost a month ago, and I've only taken 2. So again, so basically, anxiety still takes over my life, and I think it's possible that it's going to continue to do that. And I'm gonna have my good days, I'm gonna have my bad days. I'm going to hopefully conquer it. I do have a tattoo here. I don't know how good you're gonna see it. There you go. But it says, always keep fighting. And I got this because when I wake up in the morning, I see it, and it reminds me to always keep on going and to never stop fighting. The other one, this one right here, might be a little hard to see. You are not alone. It's basically kind of the same thing, that you're struggling and everyone has their own battle, and that you should treat everyone with the same kindness, because you don't know what people are battling inside their head. Everyone's different, and you must be kind to every single person, because there are so many mental disorders out there, people dealing with diseases and everything, and you have to be kind. It's a cruel world out there, guys, and who knows if it's going to get any better. But just by being a good person, and here's the thing, and I'm going to end this very shortly, I promise. Here are some short tips if you're ever dealing with someone with anxiety. And one, Don't ever tell somebody with anxiety to calm down. Everything's going to be okay. Don't do that. That is like the number one thing to never do. Never tell someone, get over it, you'll be okay. I promise you, that's not going to help someone with anxiety. It's only going to make it worse. When you tell someone that, it's like a big blow up in the freaking head. I'm not even kidding you. No, you need to be there for that person. You don't have to. You see the cat? You see the cat? Yeah, okay, anyway. You need to be there for that person, even if you have nothing to say, which gives me to number 2. Don't tell someone, oh, you'll be all right, everything will be fine, you'll get over this, like, no. Most of the time, don't say anything at all. You know what someone with anxiety wants? All we want is somebody to be there and listen, and no judgment. Those are the 2 main things. We just want someone to listen to us. That's all we want. And I hope in time, mental illnesses will be more noticed in the world, so people can be more kind to people. Mental disorders are just as bad as a disease. It's invisible to the eye, though. And just remember to always be kind to people. And I'm telling my story because I'm hoping if someone sees this video, whoever might be watching, will, I don't know, get help. Or maybe this will help them. I don't know. I don't want people to be afraid of their mental illness, because you shouldn't be judged. No one should be judged by the way they are. And you need to know anyone who deals with mental disorders, depression, anxiety, bipolar, hiccups. But you know what I mean. Just know that you are not alone. And I leave you as that. Or I'll leave you with that. I leave you with that you are not alone. And if you ever need somebody, guarantee you're going to find somebody who gives a crap. Gives a crap. That sounds so bad. Let me rephrase that. You're going to find someone who cares and wants to help you. And we just got to keep on going. We got to always keep fighting. That's the best we can do. Okay, so, well, this is like a TV show, a half-hour long, alright? So, I hope that this helps somebody in a way. I hope it helps me later when I see this one day. And, please, if you watch this video, please no negative comments. This is me telling something very personal and something very hard for me to talk about. So if you don't have anything nice to say, please don't say anything at all. If you want to say something a little nice, something nice, I would greatly appreciate it, because this took me so much guts and a lot for me to pour my heart out like this. But I'm trying to help myself and help other people who are struggling with this stuff. So I'll leave you as that. And until next time, guys, have a good night.